issues.
Kelly Jackson, when they came to me and said, would you like to host a golf tournament for the radio station, I said, well, who's the charity? And they said, what charity do you want? And it took me about 30 milliseconds to say if I were to choose one of the charities I would want the money to go to, it would be the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Rich Ledbetter runs the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. So that's what we're doing. We're having a golf tournament June 9th out at Normandy. For more information, you can go to ktrs.com. But one of the charities is going to be getting all of the benefits, the proceeds of the day is the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Rich Ledbetter, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS.
It is so great to be here, and we are so grateful for you and for KTRS for doing this for us. It means the world to these guys.
Did you start this organization?
Not at all. There was a really bold and courageous man in Ohio, Earl Morse, who started this right about the time the World War II memorial was commissioned in 2004.
Right.
He realized a lot of these guys hadn't had a chance to see their memorial, so he flew a few folks from Ohio. The idea took off like wildfire. St. Louis started in about 2008,
right.
And we got involved in 2009 and blew the organization up to become as great as we can be operationally to make sure these guys are safe and they have the experience of their lives.
How many men from our area have been there so far?
So we're in the 2,000 range right now. We have about 600 on our waiting list. We fly approximately 250 a year. We do 10 flights, each with 25 veterans on them. And so we're just committed to doing this as long as we can.
We're going to get to Joe here in a second, but the idea is to pair a veteran with a civilian so the two of them can go and experience each other for a day in Washington, D.C.
That is right, exactly. We believe that these guys have lots of stories to unpack, and we believe that the one-on-one experience with having a guardian, we call that civilian, really just makes it an even elevated experience for all parties.
Now, Joe is with us. Joe Brader, a St. Louisan. Kelly Jackson, we should say that Joe walked into the room, a nice man, seemed unassuming man. Joe, is it true that you stormed the beaches of Utah Beach on D-Day?
Yes, I was there. I went in on a landing craft truck, and I was right at the gate in a Jeep, and we weren't in close enough. There were shells hitting the water, and the pilot said, "Get off," and the Jeep went off and it sunk, and we had to swim in, and I swam as far as I could go, and I told the Lord, I said, I knew I was going to drown. I was done. I didn't have any more strength in me, and I straightened up and my feet hit sand and made it into the edge of the water, and I flopped down. I was going to rest a little bit, and I looked over, and maybe 8 feet from me was just the bottom half of a GI, and I thought, man, I got to get out of here. So I got up and hustled to the road where I was supposed to catch up with the company, and some more shells come in, and I was going to get underneath a disabled truck there in the ditch, and must have been 50 guys already there. So I walked down the road, and I felt like I just had a shield around me. Nothing hit me. I was the only one on the road.
Amazing. How often do you think about that day and the rest of your life?
Well, I thought about it a lot, but I never talked about it until my lady friend Ann called Bill McCullen and told him that I was given 200 times blood. And he says, well, that's not enough to make a story about. So I thought, she says, well, call him. He's got a good story. So he called me, and I started telling him part of my story. And he come to the house that next Monday and took the whole story. And by Wednesday, it was already in the paper.
So you come back after landing on the beaches on June 6, 1944. And you come back to St. Louis, and you live your life, and you have a couple of kids, and you get married, and you live your life, and you never talked about it until then?
No. Nieces and nephews and that never, they said they didn't hear my story until after a lot of it was put in the paper, and then they.
Which we should say
questions.
which we should say that Bill McCullen wrote about you in 2013.
Right.
Yeah. So all these years later.
And this story is so common that these guys didn't boast about their experiences. They weren't wired for that. They came home and they worked at the same company for 50 years, and they were married to the same woman for 60 years, and they raised kids, and they lived in the same parish. I picked Joe up this morning at a home that he's lived in since 1955, that he did all the tile on the exterior, and I can tell you that every one of those elements is something that dwarfs the way we live.
Yeah.
It's just remarkable.
No. And you've had a chance to go on an honor flight?
Yeah. They called me in June of last year, and the lady says, "Joe, can you go in July?" And I says, "Yeah." I says, "What date?" And she says, "The 26th." I says, "Great, that's my 91st birthday."
Oh my goodness.
Turned out good.
And your trip to Washington, D.C. was the first time you saw the World War II
Oh,
memorial?
yeah. I haven't traveled. I went to Florida a couple times to visit my brothers. I got 2 brothers live in Florida, and after I retired, but then we went to Branson a few times. But other than that,
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as you saw the World War II monument for the first time?
That was tremendous. It was, and then the Navy guys unfolded the flag and they played taps and they folded the flag back up, and then they give me the flag.
It was a really special moment.
It brought tears to my eyes. It still does.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, well, first of all, thank you for your service to the country.
Absolutely.
And thank you for telling your story. Keep telling it, because we need to hear it over and over again, all right?
Yeah.
You got it. Now, let's talk about Honor Flight.
Yes, sir.
How do people get involved?
Well, we have 3 core missions. We got to find our vets, we got to fund the flights, and we got to execute the mission. So anyone who knows a World War II or Korean veteran especially, please go to our website at gslhonorflight.org and get them registered, get them on our list. We will fly them to D.C., and they will have what Joe has called the best day of my life.
Right.
We need funding. Donate and support our mission, because we believe we're the class of the honor flights. There's 140 hubs across the country, and we think we do it as well as anyone else. So fund the mission, and we'll keep on making this a jewel for St. Louis.
And June 9th, the KTRS Golf Tournament will be playing out at Normandy Golf Course. The proceeds of that golf tournament go right into your coffers to help bring more veterans like this to Washington, D.C.
It's unbelievable. I mean, each flight costs us about $25,000, and we're aiming for these golf tournaments and these events to support a flight this year. And that's just Joe's story times 25. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Joe, you're a bowler. Are you a golfer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to come out and at least pop a couple?
I hope to.
Yeah, come on out. Yeah.
I play, when the weather's good, I play every Tuesday and Thursday.
Well, the weather's going to be perfect June 9th.
Yeah.
I've already checked. So that's going to work there. And then why don't you tell some of those young whippersnappers what it was really like to be in World War II when you come out and you tell a couple stories for us. Does that work for you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
We'll get you out there. Joe Brader, a World War II veteran, he was there. You lived history. You made history that day. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We'd all be talking German if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
And Rich, the website to find out more at the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight.
Yes, sir. It's gslhonorflight.org.
Joe?
gslhonorflight.org. Thank you.
Joe and Rich, thanks for coming in.
Both.
Yeah, okay.
You got it.
You guys are great.
8:13, Big 5.